Hey yo, I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. Today we're doing another G.I. Joe toy review for you. Today we're taking a look at the Renegades version, the carded version of Airtight. So this character was one of the original 85 lineup of the G.I. Joe line. And unfortunately this is the first time we've gotten a updated figure for this character. So since the 25th anniversary line started, it took them this long to get us a cool version of, well, any version of Airtight. So the question is whether or not it's a cool one or not. So officially this one is based off of his appearance in the Renegades cartoon line. But lucky for us, it basically is the updated version of the original character. So not too much of a variation, to be honest. And it should be pretty cool. So I'm excited about this one. I'm looking forward to tearing into it and doing a review with y'all. So stick with us and we'll see if this thing lives up to the hype. This is Airtight. It comes from the Renegades line of the G.I. Joe line. The card itself is pretty cool. It does have the cartoon representation of the G.I. Joe Renegades version of Airtight. Flipping it over to the back, we see some of the other characters in this particular line in the file card, and again the cartoon representation of Airtight. Overall, the actual card itself is really nicely designed. I'm not a real big fan of the particular aesthetics for the cartoon itself, as far as incorporating it in with the rest of the 30th anniversary, 25th anniversary line, and so forth. But beyond that, it's a pretty cool looking figure, and it's a pretty cool looking card back. So we're going to go ahead and open this thing up. Again, so Airtight was originally released back in 1985. And it was a pretty cool figure back then. He got quite a bit of airtime in the vintage cartoon line. So we have the card here, which is now just recycling material. Then it did come with this little insert for the character name itself, which is pretty cool, but not really of much use right now. So here is the figure itself and the figure stand. It's got the traditional G.I. Joe figure stand in here with the code name on it and the raised G.I. Joe logo. And it came attached to this plastic piece for some reason, so yeah, whatever. Go ahead and pull all these accessories out. First up is his cool little air tank. It's got some nice detail work on it. This cool little hand scanner, Geiger Counter thing. The figure itself with two weapons. And his backpack already attached, which is pretty cool also. And we've got his helmet. And then the air hose here is taped in, so we're just going to go ahead and slice the tape here to get the air hose out. So there we have everything that comes with this particular figure. Rifle, pull his backpack off. So quite a few accessories here, and it's pretty cool looking, so we'll go ahead and zoom in and take a closer look. The figure stand we've already looked at, but you can kind of see it a little bit closer up here. Pretty standard, so nothing special here. Looking at the accessories first, we have this cool air tank. See if I can move this stuff to the side, get a little bit better picture here. Really cool looking air tank. Lots of detail on it. It's got this nice little label on here. I can't read any of it, but it's still there, and it's still pretty cool. And it does double as a backpack if you need it to. Pretty nice. Non-removable tank itself, and I don't see anywhere to attach a hose or anything like that, but it does have this cool knob valve thing on the side of it, so that's pretty nice looking. Set that over here for the time being. Taking a look at the other backpack here. This is very much reminiscent of the original vintage line release. Standard peg for the back, and some pretty nice little detail work. It's not too extravagant, but it does work. Got these nice blower things going on it for ventilation and things like that. Some kind of mounted hub thing here that doesn't turn, but still kind of cool looking. And the attachment at the bottom for the hose. So overall pretty nice looking. The Geiger counter is pretty cool. Got some really nice detail work on it here. Hopefully the light will catch on this and y'all can see this. Lots of little knobs and buttons and things, and overall very cool looking Geiger counter. No special features or anything like that, just a hand scanner kind of thing, but still pretty cool looking. The air hose is just a simple air hose, so flexible. Nothing special about it, but we'll come back to it in a moment. The first weapon he comes with is this assault shotgun. Again, pretty nice detail work on it. Really cool looking. The other weapon is his weird, I don't even know what you call it, but I guess it's kind of like a vacuum cleaner. It sucks up dangerous chemicals and processes it through his tank on the back, and has the attachment on the back for the hose. So the way this works is you take the hose, plug it into the back of the weapon, and then the other side plugs into the backpack. And unlike a lot of these we've seen in the past, this one secures pretty well, so it's not going to accidentally slip off or anything, so that's a bonus point there. Oop. It's jumping around on us. Let's put it down this way. Then his helmet here is pretty nice looking, actually. Very much stylistic of the original release, though it was non-removable on that first vintage release. So it's cool that you actually have a helmet that can come off of this guy. It fits on really easily and looks really cool on. So it's not too wobbly or anything like that, so it's nice. And to be honest with you, he looks a lot better with the helmet on than he does with the helmet off. So yeah, he's probably not ever coming off in my collection anyways. Moving on to the actual figure itself here, which is kind of what we wanted to see in the first place, right? Detail work is really nice on this particular character. A lot of cool work on his vest. Nice work on the back. He's got this kind of bulky, not too bulky, but still you can tell it's kind of supposed to be a nice environmental suit. So really cool. The head sculpt is pretty nice as well. He does have the rest of the hood attachment molded on, so it's non-removable, but that's okay. It doesn't really need to be. Articulation wise, does rotate 360 degrees and has some up and down movement. Not a whole lot because of the way that cowl is kind of sculpted on, but you can still get quite a bit of movement out of it. Shoulder joints are the traditional swivel and
rocker. Then you also have the swivel and rocker at the elbow. And swivel at the wrist. And the wrist has also got a rocker joint on it. So, very nice. And that's true for both sides. Both wrists have articulation. So, very nice. The ab crunch feature is here. And it works really well, even though he's got this cool looking web gear here. It doesn't seem to limit articulation whatsoever with that joint. Hip joint is the traditional hip joint that we're used to seeing. Good range of motion there. Double knee joint. And he also has the swivel and rocker at the ankle joint. So, very cool. Very nice articulation here. And again, this is a really nicely looking, detailed sculpt. About the only thing I would say is maybe missing is maybe a G.I. Joe logo on one of his shoulders, but not that big of a deal. Let's go ahead and gear him up here. So you slide the helmet on, and you've got the traditional Airtight from the A Real American Hero line, the vintage version. And I'm actually glad that they kind of went with the more realistic version of this guy. Again, the cartoon version is a little bit more simplified, so some of the Renegade releases carry that same aesthetic with them. But luckily, they chose to go with the more realistic sculpt here for Airtight. And I have to say it paid off really well for them. It was a cool looking figure back in their original days, and he looks pretty awesome now, so yay. Backpack wise, he does have the regular peg hole in the back here, so you can take either of these things and stick on, and they fit in really well. So there's the original tank, and here is the secondary tank. They both fit very nicely. I don't know if this is supposed to go up or down, but I'll assume it's supposed to go like this. It looks a little bit better that way. And he can use that as a secondary tank for his air supply here. Looks pretty cool. But to be honest with you, I'm probably always going to have his original accessory here, his original backpack, just because that's the way I see Airtight myself. Weapon-wise, we'll take his vacuum cleaner gun here and stick it in. It's a little weird with that weird hose attached to it. So it doesn't you kind of have to work at it to get it to go in here and look right without it being to the side. But it still works really nicely. And again, the hose stays secure, so you don't have to worry about it coming off. And that's pretty awesome looking. The other weapon he comes with fits in his hand really easily as well, so you don't have to worry about slipping out or anything like that. So he can have the shotgun and his crazy vacuum cleaner attachment. Then you've got his Geiger counter that fits in his hand really easily like that, and he can kind of just trot off and go save the day and suck up any poisonous gases that may be lurking around. If he's running through the fun house with Dusty, he can make sure everybody's safe. So yeah, that's pretty cool. About the only thing is that he does have a lot of accessories, so he can't carry them all at one time. Not a big issue, but just something to be aware of. But overall, it's a really cool sculpt, and they did a really good job of getting the same feel of the original character in here, and it looks really nice. So I'm really happy with this figure.
That's our review for the G.I. Joe Renegades release of Airtight. All in all, I really like this figure, to be honest with you. And I wasn't a big fan of the aesthetic choices for the cartoon series, but luckily they kept with the entire realistic kind of element with the actual figure representation on this figure, and it worked out really well. He was an awesome figure in the original vintage line. He's an awesome figure now. So if you haven't picked it up already, I do highly recommend you pick it up because it is badass. Cool beans. That's all the time we've got for today, so thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for any new videos we got coming down the pipe, and we should be having quite a few here out in the next weeks or two. Been trying to do probably 1 to 2 of these per week, so depending on the queue, you should have seen some recently or soon to be seeing some very awesome videos. So till next time, happy hunting, and yo Joe.